Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Donaldson and I go way back to the 70s and our running days in Ulster County Community College. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you again, Chairman. I'd also like to thank Victoria, Fabella, and Jay for their exceptional help and encouragement in getting this done tonight, live as it may be. I'm used to looking out and seeing my friends out there. I still see my friends, but there's just a lot less of them. April is Organ Donation Awareness Month. As some of you know, I'm 15 years post-liver transplant. I was working with Lee Von Helm, my old boss, on a movie in Hazard, Kentucky, and I was getting sicker and sicker by the day, but I just put mine aside because we were having so much fun making that movie with Steven Seagal in the coal mining hills of Kentucky. But one night in Seagal's house, I got so sick I had to go to the emergency room. And the excellent doctors of Hazard, Kentucky misdiagnosed me. They thought I had leukemia, and they were going to start chemotherapy, which would have killed me the very next day in Hazard, Kentucky. Can you picture me in Hazard, Kentucky? And me either. So thankfully, Levon and Seagal, Stephen, airlifted me back to New York, and the doctor came in and saw that I wasn't dying of leukemia, that I had advanced liver failure with hepatitis C. And Dr. Book, a local gastroenterologist, came in and brought me back to stability. I had about 7 liters of fluid that was built up from this disease. I was so sick, they put me on antibiotics and blood transfusions for a week, and they brought me back to stability. And then I languished on the list, they call it, the list of people waiting for a transplant. And you have no idea what that's like. 8 years just getting sicker and sicker. And if it wasn't for my amazing wife, Barry, who kept faith and kept me going and never gave up, it was a long 8 years, believe me. There's 112,000 people in America on that same list right now. 9,000 of them are your neighbors here in New York. Many of us know people waiting for a transplant. It could be a kidney, it could be a liver, it could be a cornea transplant like Mandy Patinkin has, or it could be lungs, it could be a heart, it could be almost anything. There's 112,000 people who are languishing on that list. And if you don't know what it's like to wait every day for a miracle of life, it's really heartbreaking. But thankfully, after 8 years, I got a miracle. My donor, Frank Matera, Frankie, I say his name every day, and I live like he's watching me. Because I live because of his family's generous donation. And there are other donor families who feel that way, that their loved ones live on in the people who've been transplanted with their organs. But here in the COVID era, it's so much more difficult because the hospitals were pretty much closed for elective surgery, even though it's life-saving surgery to get a transplant. And living donors pretty much dried up because nobody wanted to go to the hospitals. But my focus has really shifted from signing up to be an organ donor when you pass away, which you can still do. You can still sign up at donatelifenys.org or liveonny.org or registerme.org. You can go downstairs to Nina Posterpak, our wonderful county clerk, to her DMV, and her proactive staff is signing up organ donors every time they come in, whether it's to get a permit or to change a license plate. They are very proactive, and I thank you, Nina, and your staff for being so helpful in this important area. But hopefully when you do sign up, it'll be many years before you pass and before we need to get your organs. So I'm impatient now. I'm getting older, I'm 71 now, and I want to see these miracles of life before my eyes. So living organ donation, the liver and the kidney are the 2 easiest organs to donate while you're alive. Here in Kingston, Tara Salerno, her husband Jake, you may know, is a state trooper. Tara gave a piece of her liver to her sister Tiffany a few years ago, and she spoke here before you. Now they're both wonderful. Her sister Tiffany, who received the new liver, is now a liver transplantation type nurse who's helping people. So the circle goes on. You can give a kidney. Mary Ann Tazi in New Paltz gave a kidney to her uncle. We have a family in New Paltz, an amazing family, the Jamal family. Mickey Jamal, you may know, Mickey Mobile Stations, and his son Khalil. Well, 10 years ago, Khalil gave his father his kidney, and it was part of 5 families circular transplant, where there were 5 families with donors and 5 families with recipients, and there were 10 transactions of the kidneys and all those families. 10 years later, Khalil in a convenient deli and Mickey in New Paltz, they're thriving, they're families, they have children. It's just a beautiful thing. And I have a friend who really brings it all home. I've been speaking here before you all for so many years. I've been telling the stories, I've had people here, and then every time you hear the miracle of life, you just get choked up. My friend Ron Steinman, those of you like me and Dave who lived through the Vietnam era may remember Ron as a reporter embedded in Vietnam. And he's gone on to write books about the women who served in Vietnam, the heroes that so often the stories don't get told. Ron tells those stories through his television documentaries, his books. He's 86 years old. He's a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather. He needed a kidney. What are the chances of getting a kidney at 86? Slim and none. Through the program, the UNOS program, being on the list, 86-year-old people don't get those kidneys. But we put it out on social media, and if you want to read about COVID and transplantation, go on LinkedIn to Ron Steinman and read about his dialysis through the COVID era, year of dialysis. It's such a brutal process, but it keeps them alive. It's really a lifesaver until you can get the transplant. And just this past week, Ron got an anonymous living donor. He got his kidney, and he's recuperating strongly and healthy in New York City. And we say, God bless Ron, and we honor you because you're a living example of how life is so important and so fragile. And whoever your donor and donor family is, we thank them. It's anonymous right now. Hopefully they'll find out. But either way, those donor families are truly angels that walk amongst us. So my friends, you want to do right, you want to give something back, consider helping somebody in your community who is dying, waiting for a transplant. Just call Westchester Medical, speak to the transplantation unit, and they will certainly be talking to you and bringing you in. It's no cost to the donor. You're back out in public in 6 to 8 weeks, and it's relatively an easy procedure to save a life. Wouldn't you like to see the face of the person whose life you saved? Everybody wants to do good. Everybody wants to leave a legacy. Leaving a life is a great legacy. So my friends, you can go to donatelifenewyorkstate.org and sign up. You can go to registerme.org, or you can do it now, be a living donor. Either way, it saves lives. Look at me. I built a September 11th memorial in my town. I did some other things. I served in the elections for many years, and I just am overjoyed. A few years ago, my granddaughter was here, and she spoke on organ donation because she wouldn't have known me if it wasn't for Frankie Matera. So I want to say thank you to the chairman for the privilege of speaking before this August body. I have many, many good memories of my friends here through the years, and Jay and Vicky, thank you very much for all your help. And please, legislators, when you get back to your districts, be a hero. Talk up organ donation. It saves lives. Thank you, and God bless.
I make something clear too before you go, Butch, everybody, please sign up. It's easy to, when you never know, you might be in a car accident, you may be able to, even though your life may end, you may be able to save a number of people, various transplants. Butch got me quite a while ago. Normally, if this was in, if we were in person here, everybody, he would be handing out forms. And everybody would get a form. That's how he got me, and that's how he got a number of other people. The form was there, and I'm looking at it, and I said, well, how can I not do this? But anyway, I'd like to present a proclamation to Butch, and I'm going to have, before I present the proclamation, I'd like to have the clerk of the legislature just read the first 3 paragraphs of it. Thank you, Butch, for coming.
Thank you, Dave.
Always a pleasure, buddy, always a pleasure to see you.
My honor and my privilege. Thank you very much.